how was that? I waited a little bit.
You scared us.
It still didn't ring. It's the craziest thing, man.
I was like, I'm not. Well, it was driving me crazy. I wanted to answer it so bad.
It rang that many times, huh?
On my end, it rang like 6-7 times.
Wow, that's strange. Okay, well, we are connected, and this is fun because this is like the bonus episode with Del, who gave up everything but beer for Lent. Now, I know we haven't talked to you since it officially ended. It was just a couple days before. Tell us what was the big finish? How did everything go?
It went really, really well. 46 days. I lost over 40 pounds. The fundraiser's at like $12,500, and today I'm releasing my T-shirts for sale. So all the T-shirt proceeds will go into that as well. I'm hoping to get maybe over 15 grand. Ton of press, ton of support. I really couldn't ask for more. It was a really, really good year, and hopefully it's just more great things to come.
Excellent. We got a great thing in the mail. As you said, the day after we talked last week, you said you were sending us a great big box of beer. And man, did you ever.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Del is a part owner of 16 Lots Brewery. Where is it located in Ohio? What city?
So we're in Mason, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cincinnati.
Okay. 16 Lots has how many different flavors?
Right now, in cans, we have about 7.
Okay.
But normally, because of draft beer, I always have at least 15 different rotating draft beers on.
Man, it's a lot of flavors. And you sent us an amber, a pilsner, and a juicy IPA. I'm glad, because no one wants the dry one, right?
No, I know. I mean, dry IPAs, that was so 95.
Well, it's also National Beer Day, so we're very timely. And I made us some ratchet, what are these called? Beer flights.
Yes.
So Steve's is on a cutting board, mine's on a box, and we have some cups where I wrote on Sharpie what each beer was, then we have the beer behind it, and then we have a little bit poured so we can try it. And you can tell us about it, because we don't know what any of these are.
Yeah, I literally just posted on Instagram because I saw your post.
Yes.
And I said, what are those cups for? I thought we were chugging these beers.
Oh. Let's be honest. That's not going to happen.
Right? The rest of the morning might not go so well.
Okay, so what do you think is the best to start with? The amber, the pilsner, or the IPA?
The yellow, so the pilsner.
Okay.
That's the major. You want to start with the lightest beer you have, or also the one that has kind of, the least amount of flavors.
Okay.
Because you don't want to shock your palate. So you want to start with the pilsner. Everyone's pretty familiar with the pilsner, by the way. So, all the big boys, the Budweisers, the Millers, the Coors, all of those are a form of a pilsner.
Okay. What's the percentage here on this one? Because
it's
5.2%.
Okay. There's only 4 ingredients in this entire, beer, and they all, except for our water, come from Germany.
Wow.
Okay, here we go.
Cheers.
Bottoms up. Cheers.
You're not going to drink the whole thing. What?
All right. I'm with you guys.
Okay.
Right, here we go. Oh,
wait!
That's a great pilsner.
Normally, beer, after I have, a sour face, because I'm I didn't, actually like that, but I actually like this.
Yeah, so it's one of the truest, expressions of what people think of beer when they say, oh, what's beer, I was stationed in the Army. I was stationed in Germany and, really fell in love with the traditional German styles. And this is exactly, literally, you cannot experience a more German beer than what you're drinking right now.
Okay, so what next? Are we going juicy or amber?
Let's go to the amber.
Okay.
Which is, it's actually darker.
It's so dark in color, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I was surprised when it said amber, it was just dark.
When you hear the term amber or a brown ale, ruby, all those things are a variation of the kind of malts you put in them, and then basically how roasted those are, right? So the lighter the roast, it gives a little bit of color, and then as it gets darker and darker, then you get into those porters or a Cascadian ale or a stout. So this is an American amber, which means it's got some hops in it. There's a little bit of bitterness, But we use this really cool malt. So, when you talk about what the ingredients of beer, one of them is always, people say barley. And they're talking about, malted barley. And there's lots of different ones out there. There's so many producers all over the world. And all those different ingredients make the beer taste different. We use in this one that's actually named chocolate. So it's a chocolate malt.
Oh, wow.
And at the end of that, you'll actually taste a little bit of like if you took your mom's in the kitchen and she's baking, you take a little bite of the baking chocolate, the chalky, dry baking chocolate, you get a little bit on the end of that beer.
Okay.
All right. The first beer we tried was the Pilsner. That was called the Major. Now it's the Dented Silo Amber, which is, what's the percentage on this one?
Another
5.2 as well.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Are you going to open the can, Del?
I already did.
Oh, shoot. Okay, you're ahead of us. Okay.
I beat you to it.
Oh, man.
What the heck? Del, you make such good beer. This is
Right?
wild.
Thank you. Thank you. So a lot of people are turned off. They, I get this a lot when I'm out in the public and I'm doing a beer tasting.
Yeah.
People say oh, I don't like beer. Well, that's a perception. Like if I poured it blind and you couldn't see what you were actually drinking, you wouldn't necessarily think that's a dark beer. It's definitely got flavor, but it's not what you think. It's not like you're going to need a knife and a fork to get through that. It's not this big, chewy, stout. It's dark. But there's a lot of beers out there that are like this style, which would be like a Sam Adams, like a Boston Lager, maybe like a Negra Modelo, or a lot of the darker Mexican beers, very similar to that.
I like the Dos Equis Amber. I like their...
That's my favorite too. I love the interesting fact. That style of beer is actually called a Vienna Lager.
A Vienna Lager?
Yeah, like Austria. That's what that beer is called. Even though it's a Mexican beer, the actual style is Vienna Lager.
Okay. Now, we're coming up on the IPA now, and I'll be honest with you, because I am not that bold flavor of beer. I typically don't like that.
I'm nervous.
This one's called Soak City. It's a juicy IPA, but I love this can. It's got
Thank you.
An octopus on it. It talks about it's tropical, citrus, and lush. That's a great word. I love that word. The word lush. And this is the third and final in the big box of beer that Del sent us to celebrate National Beer Day.
Ooh, this one definitely smells like an IPA.
Yeah, so we're in the shadows of Kings Island. The famous amusement park.
Yes.
That's in our city, where you can see the Eiffel Tower basically from our brewery. And this is an homage to the water park there. It was called Soak City for years.
Okay.
So we wanted to pay homage to that, and then the tentacles and everything you see on that is a throwback to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, cool! A thoughtful design. Plus, they packed in 6.4% alcohol by volume.
Yep. All right, are you guys ready?
I don't know.
I guess.
This one I won't say bottoms up because we have more work to do today.
Yeah. Cheers and prayers. Let's see. I have faith.
Oh, did you hear the can open?
Mm-hmm. Dang. Del, you oh my gosh, every beer, I read about it on the menu and I order it and I have an expectation, but then it has a weird aftertaste or a weird bitter, or I'm I actually kind of hate this. But yours, you tell what it's gonna be, and it's that.
Wow.
You don't lie.
So an IPA is the India Pale Ale, and it's named that for the journey that beer had to take from England to India. And what they started doing, the beer would spoil. So hops are a preservative. So they started adding more and more hops to the beer to preserve the long journey. Well, the folks started drinking it along the way when it was still really fresh, and they were blown away that it was so good. So that it became a style on its own, an India Pale Ale. And it's known for all these flavors, and all that flavor comes from the hops. So there's so many different varietals of hops out there that you can pinpoint whether you want something to be kind of, grapefruity or mango-y or just citrus in general, or you can have it be piney and resiny, like a spruce tip. There's so many different flavor profiles you can with hops, and so we chose all the ones that are going to be tropical, the ones that are going to be that citrus, that lush that you see on the can.
I totally taste it.
all these beer days that have passed in my life, and this is finally the one where I actually learned something. I know this is so good. Del, thank you for such an education. I mean, our relationship has been so interesting over the last few years, and this is a fine way to end our weekly conversations for 2021.
I love it.
It is. Happy National Beer Day, everybody.
Happy National Beer Day. 16 Lots Brewing Company. You can order some of the beer for yourself. I highly recommend all of it.
Yes. And get somewhere today. We've got a lot of local brewers here in the area too. Get somewhere today and have some sips. If it's not today, make sure you do it this weekend.
Yes.
Del, it's been a pleasure, man.
Awesome. I will. I'll check in with you guys here in a few months.
Awesome.
Cool.
Del, thanks so much. Cheers for life.
Excuse me.
Beer burps are happening. We must go on that note.
Awesome. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Del. Bye.